So, this video is going to be more of a question. So, the issue of fentanyl. Now, I understand that people don't know that the drugs they're taking is laced with fentanyl. That's my understanding. That they wouldn't have taken the drugs, whether it be what you think are legal drugs or whether it's illegal drugs, that people's behavior would be different if they knew that it was laced with fentanyl. My question is, why lace it with fentanyl without people's knowledge? What good does that do? My understanding is that the people who make the drugs are doing this so they can make money. If all of your clients are dead, it kind of puts a damper on your ability to make money. So why do that? I mean, at least tell people, yes, this has fentanyl, and this is how you should take it. Not take as big of a dose as you normally would, or whatever. But just not telling anybody? How does this end well for anybody? Because I have yet to hear anyone say that they took drugs laced with fentanyl and this is the type of high it gave them, this is how great it is. None of that. Because the only time I've heard of fentanyl is in relation to drug deaths. I have never heard of it in any other context. So why lace it with fentanyl? I get that maybe the idea was it was supposed to improve the high. But if you're not telling people that it makes it more potent and everyone ends up dead, well, then you're obviously not getting the effect you wanted. So why do it? It makes literally no sense. Speaking of making no sense, what brought up this question was the death of Michael K. Williams, which I can't believe it's been a year and a half already. But anyway, they sentenced the drug dealer to 40 years in prison. Now, I'm sorry, but I know a lot of different types of crimes that some would say are even worse, because yes, he dealt the drugs, but if he didn't even know it was laced with fentanyl, then how is he to know that this guy is going to overdose on it? So either A, he didn't know it was laced with fentanyl, and or B, this is a new customer, and so and if he's told, oh yeah, I've used heroin before, it's not his obligation to say, oh, you should only take so much, because everybody's different. Some people need more to get a high. So how is it that he's getting 40 years? Now, granted, should he be punished for dealing drugs? Probably. Should he be dealt with this harshly? Granted, it did result in a death, but again, you can't assume that the person taking the drugs is going to OD. And, most people are assuming that people know how to use the drugs. So they have no reason to actually impart any instructions unless asked, because they don't know who you are. So I get it, it led to a death, but I don't know if that isn't a bit excessive, because I wouldn't call it murder. I mean, maybe at most manslaughter, because the intent is not there. So our system is so messed up. Our system, when it comes to the war on drugs, is so messed up. But anyway, I believe that's all I had to say on this issue. I'm just really curious, though, if anybody has any idea, what is the point of lacing drugs with fentanyl? Especially if you're not going to tell anybody you laced it with fentanyl and people just think it's regular old heroin or whatever drugs you're buying, thinking that, oh, I don't know, maybe you think it's a legit drug, a drug that you need for this symptom or that symptom or whatever. And oh, by the way, there's a lethal dose of fentanyl there. I mean, I honestly do not know what the point is. So if anybody can explain to me, what is the point, number one, of fentanyl? I assume it's supposed to give a better high, but I do not know. I just know that I was given fentanyl when I had a procedure done, and just like any other opioid, didn't feel that great afterwards. So I honestly would love to know, number one, what is the point? And is not telling anyone just going against the whole point of using fentanyl? Or maybe this isn't drug dealers. Maybe these are anti-drug people and they just want to screw with people who take drugs. And I'm not talking just illegal drugs, but drugs in general, because like I've said, I've heard of people buying drugs that they need, not illicit drugs, but drugs that are approved, but that they're laced with fentanyl. And again, even if the idea was a high, if you're putting it in lacing drugs that the whole point is to help with pain relief or whatever the drug is, to help with whatever symptom, what is putting a lethal dose of fentanyl actually accomplishing? Because you're definitely not getting them hooked on a drug if they're dead. So I would love to know what is the point of this whole fentanyl thing, because it makes zero sense to me. Anyway, I'm just going around in circles now, so with that, I will see you guys next time.